I'm going to use every excuse I have to play the Killer 7 soundtrack, but unfortunately, it will not be today. I now have to actively act like I care. That's not true. The Intervallo might be good. It might be good. It might be good. I don't know if it'll be good. It might be good. We're going to find out if it's good. I'm just going to book it, because I just had to waste a whole bunch of resources to max out 2 people I don't care about. A funeral was held for Martin and the LCE researchers today. I thought I'd seen more than my fair share of deaths throughout my journey with the sinners. But never before had I witnessed this many people gather in one place to mourn the deceased together. The unfamiliarity made me feel a bit out of place. Am I doing this right? Most of the sinners seem to be feeling that similar sense of being out of their element as well. Some of them were asking Marisol, probably the most knowledgeable of them all when it came to funeral process and etiquette, all manner of questions for pointers. I should DM my contact. Expressing respect is the primary purpose. Hand placement and gesture are unimportant if that objective can be accomplished. Hey, where do I put this? Beneath the third pillar to the right. Can't any of you quit chattering for 1 second? Have you all forgotten the instruction to carry yourselves with solemn propriety that befits the occasion? Cut me some slack. I haven't been to funerals all that much. I mean, I did tell you to read the manual. I even underlined all the important parts for you. Sorry, Ishi. The wall of text was just too much for me. My focus started fizzling out from page 30 onwards. Hadn't every sinner here attended a funeral before? Back when we set foot in that grim manor in T-Corp? Ah, thou speakest of the funeral held in young Heathcliff's manor, dost thou not? The one bereft of the dead? Bereft of the dead? I mean, someone had to have died, because there wouldn't have been a property dispute big enough to involve the Oofy Association's notarization otherwise. I said this time and time again, but it was an intentional anonymity to prevent family strife. Intentional anonymity, is it? If the situation was indeed as thou sayest, then there was no helping it, forsooth. Yet 'tis a pity that the dead wasn't named at their own funeral. The name of the deceased was... It was Catherine's funeral. She was very dear to Heathcliff. I have thoroughly reviewed the past 5 years' worth of local newspapers pertaining to the matter, yet no such name relevant to the case was identified, manager. It's fine, Clockhead. At least you remember. That's good enough, innit? It had to be the Golden Bow's influence. Somewhere along the way, everyone's memories of the event at Wuthering Heights had become warped. The sinners seemed to think that the Golden Bow had always been there in that manner, and that Nellie was coaxed into stealing it by Herman. Linton, in their minds, was now a grieving brother who had been conducting research for his dead sister's sake. Nobody questioned it. Not Don Quixote, not Faust. Every single sinner believed a twisted version of the memory as if it was a proven fact. Heathcliff and I gave up trying to correct them. Instead, we'd just check in on each other's memories every now and then. Because if there's something that he and I realized, it was that anything tied to Catherine had already been painted over. Every detail gilded and glossed over with the glow of the bow. The point is... How should I put this? The circumstances of that funeral didn't exactly leave us much room to properly express our condolences back then. Between Heathcliff running on a rampage and that Hindley guy bent on interfering with the execution of the will... I assumed that sort of impediment was pretty common stuff for funerals, but apparently not, huh? No, well, I think it's actually rare to see a place that follows proper funeral procedures. I traveled around quite a bit myself, but I can't confidently say that I've ever been to a legitimate funeral. The one at Wuthering Heights was one of the more proper funerals, if only for pretending to have a process. They at least prepared a coffin and even had a formal reading of the will. It seems funerals are far from being an everyday custom in the city. Funerals are considered a rather extravagant practice here as well. Corporations are not eager to grant time offs just because an irrelevant someone has died, and the price of real estate seldom makes it viable to buy land and erect memorial houses on it. Then, what other options do people usually have? We used to just leave them where they died, and after one night's sleep, the bodies were gone, just like that. Better than paying loads of money to bury them somewhere just to have that stir up a load of daft rumors, eh? Rumors? You know, rumors about there being valuables buried with the bodies, in some fancy prosthesis, all that rot. Better to let the dead go in peace than to bury them in a grave just for some sods to later desecrate it. In Hongwon, people tend to set up graves if they have enough room to spare. Of course, there wasn't a guarantee they wouldn't lose the burial room by the next restructuring day. Hohenheim scoffed and hung his head. Odious foolishness, all of it. Comforting the soul of the departed, another mendacity. All those funds so carelessly squandered, all for the purpose of furnishing the living with a fragile excuse to cling on. Are those words from his heart, or just something said to convince himself? Whichever was the truth, I couldn't see the look on his face with his head tucked so low. The funeral didn't last long. It was just a brief moment of silence, followed by a few quick goodbyes that were shorter still. The ceremony came to a close once Alyssa, who was still in recovery, came to pay her final respects. The flames devoured the coffins of Martin and the other researchers, announcing the end of their existence with the crackle of firewood. So, I suppose you'll be leaving now? Oh! We're staying until Gregor's stable enough to travel. Dante says he'll remain here until Gregor's condition settles. Gregor came to his senses again a few days after his unforeseen metamorphosis in the battle against the Thumb Nurse Father. He was given a checkup, and Hohenheim said there was no cause for concern. Physically, that is. The psychological assessment turned up disastrous, to say the least. Gregor was declared unfit for combat deployment for the time being. So he won't be leaving just yet. Good to know. Then I assume you'll be okay with us borrowing Sinclair for a while? Huh? Me? Yes, you. The LC wants to look into the sign you manifested, Sinclair. The higher-ups didn't waste a second greenlighting the project, which means what I'm telling you is more notice of investigation than a request for permission. Huh? What investigation? What are you... It's just a rather rudimentary instance of human experimentation. Calm yourself. Human experimentation?! Did you really have to put it like that, boss? Not to worry, Sinclair. A swipe or two on your skin and maybe some talk therapy. That's all there is to it. Of course, if we had your consent, the avenues of research could be vastly... No! I'm not giving you my consent! For your reference, the other departments have also submitted some quite enthusiastic requests for research and observational purposes. Oh, you have no idea. We had to get Boss to fend off the LCA's Mirror World Observatorium department and their hissy fits. They want to be the first to get their hands on you and spearhead the research, you see? And had we allowed them, they'd have kept you for a good few months before letting you go, so the least you could do is thank us, is be a good boy and cooperate. Just in time. Our researchers are here. Alyssa waved at the researchers who were filing out of the funeral hall after paying their respects. It wasn't long before Sinclair found himself surrounded on all sides. Wait, I'm perfectly capable of walking there on my own, so just don't run any painful tests on me. Of course. Stay strong, Sinclair. All I could do was offer an unspoken encouragement to Sinclair, who sounded ready to collapse into full-blown panic any minute. What about you? You not going with them? Oh, it's back to the long-term recovery ward for me. I always thought scientific research was the one thing that flamed my passion, but with recent events having introduced me to the merits of paid sick leave, I realized that time off beats research projects in my book, marginally. Enjoy it while it lasts. I suspect that every request for PTO submitted by our department will be rejected for the rest of the year. Well, it's true. Your average corporation doesn't give more than a week off a year. As soon as Alyssa trudged off with her dragging steps, the researcher seized Sinclair and carried him away. Alright, we should get going too. Oh, do you all have somewhere else to be?
Well, I thought I'd go visit Gregor. I'm worried about him.
Got something I said I'd help with. I gotta be there for it. I'm going with Sinclair to get some rest. Also to keep an eye on the researchers and stop them if they try anything fishy with the experiments. Let me know later if you need anything, Dante. The Sinners fanned out in different directions. They seem to have their own errands to run during our stay at the LCE. Everyone's busy with their own thing. The only ones keeping me company now are Ryoshu, who'd been filling the air around with thick with cigarette smoke, and Don Quixote, who was sniffing and asking around at every corner for Vespa in a valiant quest for the new color fixer's whereabouts. Faust was still here too, staring blankly into the air. Is she accessing the Gesellschaft? You seem to have some time to spare, manager. As I stood there, wondering what I should do next to pass the time, Hohenheim, who had apparently finished tackling and signing the stack of papers, walked over to me. This makes things rather convenient. There is something I had intended to discuss with you and Sinner Ryoshu, a matter that requires your assistance. What kind of assistance? WKOA, says CH. Wait a minute. Did Ryoshu just step in as my interpreter? It's not that I don't appreciate her gesture, especially if she'd usually snap at me and tell me to find someone else to interpret whenever the issue came up. But I can't help but doubt whether her choice method of interpretation actually accomplishes anything. There is, I must admit, a certain novelty in witnessing the reconstitution of that which requires interpretation into yet another linguistic form equally demanding of it. It would seem we are in need of more manpower. Scratching his head, Hohenheim looked around for a moment before coming to a sudden pause. His own idea had crossed his mind. At the end of his gaze was a certain someone who was busy badgering LCCA employees with their relentless questioning.
Who else, pray, might know where he is, if thou knowest not? Now listen closely. The one I seek is a bearer of hair fashioned in the likeness of a bull.
You there. Why don't you join us too?
Dost thou speak of me?
LCCA personnel, who were cornered by Don Quixote in her rather forceful interrogation regarding Vespa's whereabouts, took the opportunity and fled to the scene without so much as a backward glance the moment their captor turned her head to answer Hohenheim. Indeed, there's a task that requires your assistance.
But I have yet more words to trade with the most noble yellow harpoon.
You seek to emulate the virtue of chivalry. Does that entail turning down an earnest plea of those in need? For the sake of clarity and distinction, it is prudent to assign you a different identifier from that of my assistant. You are to be number 2, that is, assistant number 2.
I have not yet concluded mine exchange with the yellow harpoon, but no true knight would abandon those who call for aid. Pray, speak thy quest. How may I be of service to thee?
Delegating the interpretation of the manager's speech to Sinner number 4 has proven to be counterproductive. As such, your task will be to report to me what the manager says.
Oh, that is indeed a simple task. However, this WKOA eludeth mine understanding as well. Prithee, allow me but a little time to uncover its mystery.
Relay the manager's words, not Sinner Ryoshu's. They are asking you what kind of assistance you need. The request for interpretation was not directed to you, but I cannot deny that your meddling, in the present circumstance, is a welcome one. It was simply that the irrationality and inefficiency of your suboptimal staffing choice and workflow had become sufficiently unbearable. Faust hopes it was not some guileful scheme devised to elicit Faust's cooperation. In any case, manager, his request of mine concerns an investigation into the back doors located in the House of Spiders. I deem that the two of you should be the ones most familiar with the structure and layout of the house. After all, you were the ones monitoring the entirety of the 5-pronged assault operation, and Sinner number 4's familiarity does not bear repeating. Do we go to the House of Spiders right away? HOSRA? You have assisted enough. Perhaps you could help, Faust. Sure. Although not word for word, Faust relayed my intention to Hohenheim, who responded by shaking his head. Not immediately, no. There is one more member you should bring along. One more member? Seeing me tilting my head, Hohenheim pushed up his glasses. The apprentice who was captured alive in the House of Spiders. Kira. She has regained consciousness. I still feel like there's a chance for Lucio to be alive. I don't think that's cope entirely with how the city works. But at the same time, like, yeah, it can go either way. Like, I don't really give a shit. Oh, I totally forgot to link this on Twitter. Do I give a shit? Sure, why not? If my fucking internet would work. My computer is a pain in the ass. The place Hohenheim led us to looked like less like a recovery ward, more like an interrogation chamber. With every single medical equipment installed around seemed to be state-of-the-art. This place looks well-equipped. Probably a direct order from upper management. Although technologies to restore lost body parts are common enough in a city, a facility of this kind is required to preserve the original form of her lower body in the reconstruction process while keeping the cost reasonable. Reasonable, huh? Do I want to ask how expensive the other option or discount is reasonable? Windowless rooms thick with the sharp scent of medicine and chemicals. Kira was sitting on the bed at the center of the room, kicking her feet as she regarded us. For someone recovering from bisection, she didn't look much different from how she appeared when I'd seen her through the center's shared vision. I finally got it. Jesus Christ. She was captured alive for the extraction of information, yes? How far along is the progress of the extraction? It hasn't begun, actually. We're waiting till the lines of information that warrant questioning can be isolated. So far, all available personnel have been fully engaged in analyzing the documents and items discovered in the House of Spiders. Then what's you even doing here? There's work to be done, contingent upon information obtainable only from a recent inhabitant of the House of Spiders. And following discussion with the upper management, I have decided to put you to use as the company had originally intended. No TV, no comic books, the super prickly glare and a cold shoulder whenever I ask for something to pass the time. And now, you suddenly need my help, huh? Give me one reason why I should cooperate. Hohenheim didn't so much as twitch an eyebrow at Kira's biting tone. He merely gave her a nod with a steely, imperturbable expression. I didn't ask for your help. Put you to use, I believe is what I said. What? Your survival is not incidental. It is a result of calculation. The company anticipates a potential profit by keeping you alive. Expected gain, as the term goes. Without such a forecast on the company's part, you would have already been disposed of. The upper management consists of people who would be disinclined to tolerate the daily maintenance and depreciation costs of this room, even at half their current numbers. Which brings us to our next point. Should you insist on maintaining this uncooperative attitude, the company may decide to convene a meeting to reassess your worth, or shall we say lack thereof, in its projected income statement. Well, suffice to say that such a reassessment would skew heavily against your favor. The outcome would be a recommendation for immediate disposal. Hohenheim always had a way with words that could prickle and sting. But with Kira, it almost felt as if he traded the usual thorn off for a sharper knife, intent on twisting it right where it hurt. I'm dead meat as soon as my usefulness runs out anyway. It's not like you're gonna let me live after I killed a bazillion of your guys. So you anticipated some form of a corporate-level retaliatory response against your person. That's indeed a curious line of reasoning. Then I must tell you that, unlike your typical backstreet syndicate, such as the Middle, corporate entities of the city tend to avoid choices that may incur losses. The value of the information that could be extracted from an apprentice of the Middle and the combat prowess honed under the tutelage of a great brother of the Middle. These two considerations are likely what increase their value in the eyes of the company. Y'all got zero self-respect, huh? You should consider yourself fortunate. Huh? The heck are you on about? Other companies would not solicit your cooperation by means of a verbal exchange. Your interrogator would simply open your cranium, harvest your brain, and extract any and all necessary information without going through the intermediary steps, such as this. Even without resorting to such methods, the range of available means to compel the disclosure of information is practically limitless. Truth serums, hypnotic suggestion, electrical shocks, stimulations, and of course procedures utilizing distortions and abnormalities. That being said, the LCE department prefers to distance itself from such uncivilized approaches that may entail complications and after effects. I do hope that we share a similar predilection. You're so frickin' annoying, you know that, mister? The feeling is entirely mutual. Leaving the biting chill of his threats to sink in, Hohenheim turned towards the exit. Give her some push and bring her along. I don't quite seem to be myself today. No, disregard that. That too was a rather foolish thing to say. I will defer this matter to you, manager. Work of this sort usually falls more within your capabilities than my own. And with that, Hohenheim stepped out of the room, leaving me to deal with Kira. His reaction was understandable. The LC had only just finished laying his dead researchers to rest. Kira is probably the last person anyone would want to face right now, much less speak to. What should I even say to persuade her? I was still caught in the thought when someone quite unexpectedly made her way to Kira. Yoshihide. You. Heard you got stabbed in the back by Matthias. That's not true. Papa wasn't landing a fatal blow unless he cut through me too. That's why he did exactly that, to aim for the enemy's head. Besides, he made the right choice. A little sacrifice ain't a thing in a family. Family. Coming from him, a middle mutt thrown out of his kennel. Doesn't it sound ridiculous even to you? That's... thrown out. That fucker Matthias was a GB only by technicality. He fucked up badly. He was still family by name, but underneath it, everyone hoped he'd disappear quietly on his own. He was that family member nobody wanted around. Same treatment for me being his brat. Not surprising as the ST for the bowl cut, too. Same. Taste. Oh, young Ryoshu, could it be that thou also harbor a passionate zeal for I quickly clapped a hand over Don Quixote's mouth as she smoothly chimed into the conversation. So what exactly is your point? The point is, you're taking too long. If you can't decide whether you want to live or die, I can shorten the hesitation. CQ or I'll sink right this instant. What does that mean? Cooperate quietly, or I'll snap your neck completely right this instant. Why does sink have so many definitions? Slice your neck clean, snap your neck completely. Sink isn't such a bad way to go if you're keen on taking that loyalty act straight to the grave. This is so crappy. Whatever, I get it, okay? I'll talk if that's what you want so bad. That actually worked? Fixers who go out in a blaze of glory aren't actually the strong ones. It's the ones who survive. The ones who live to see another day and keep getting stronger. Anyway, Yoshihide, what's up with you talking in weird-ass abbreviations? Like, sink? That's so random. Who even says that? Ryoshu didn't bother to reply and simply chewed on the mouth end of her cigarette. But is this really the right call? To her, we're probably people she needs to settle the score with. As if. Half her tattoos are gone, Clock. We even confiscated her book. In the middle, sorry excuse for loyalty means so much for this stray that she'd bite us. Besides... No, better hear from her instead. Hey, tell me why Matthias kicked the bucket. That's 'cause... Well, 'cause Papa was weaker than y'all. Yeah, you're the jerk's brat, alright. Kira pushed herself up from the bed with a sour face, but at least she didn't argue back. And we called Hohenheim, who'd been waiting outside, back in. I assume the prisoner was successfully persuaded. Come, you will find your weapon on the table. You may use it in the event of an emergency. What the hell? I can't even unsheath it! You won't be able to use it without authorization. The code has been slightly adjusted. Now then, let's head to the House of Spiders at once. The back door is up and waiting for us. We made our way to the House of Spiders with Kira trailing behind us, looking like she was smelling something particularly fishy on us. It just fucks with me. Like, out of everyone you pick the middle chick. I don't know if this is proof of, like, middle, like, favor, or if I'm looking too deep into it. Right, so, like, no Gregor. Let me change to a team lineup. Actually, wait, fuck, no Gregor. That fucks up my whole thing. Oh, no. Oh, wait, if I don't have... I guess I'll stick a Wild Hunt, then. I could bring the Bleed one.
가시죠. 독재팀의
일인가요? 화점에 두지.
녹슨 총에 날카롭지 않은 맡겨두시게.
소지.
떨림.
전시 중.
나를 점 찍었다면 격에 맞는 조언도 함께 준비하라.
Oh shit, someone actually has him. Oh, thank God. Oh, alright, good. That means 2, 4, 6, 8. That's max. That's exactly what I was trying to go for. Could I have just rolled for Rhodia and filled in myself? Yes, but I'm lazy. Alright, here we go. I'll be fine.
끝에 바라본다.
Only a few days had passed since our last visit, but the place looked markedly different from what we remembered. I have them both. I don't want to have the one, it's whatever. Exactly max thing. The sight of the hollow, frigid atmosphere and an endless stretch of corridors hadn't changed. But Callisto's so-called artworks were now covered in white sheets, and unfamiliar devices were affixed all around the back doors. Prithee, who might those people thither be? Ooh, ooh, hello. Looks like some shady bastards moved in already. Our guarded reaction prompted Hohenheim to step forward and gesture one of the oddly dressed figures. It seems introductions are in order for both sides. This is the team leader Alan from Wayfarer Company, who will be working with us in the investigation of the house's back doors. Wayfarer Company? A corporate entity partnered with Limbus Company, responsible for providing portal technology. It has on prior occasion been referred to as the new or aspirant W Corp, though the name is an unofficial one. Our employees have also taken to calling you the new L Corp, something we have in common, given that we're both chasing after the same horizon. I remember. That company vying to take W Corp's place, right? The same horizon. He's probably talking about getting recognized as a wing. After all, the old L Corp had already fallen, while W Corp, from what I've heard, is free-falling at this point. And these are the manager and sinners of the LCB department, our field operations unit, frequently deployed to deal with on-site matters firsthand. They have more personnel, but the rest are tied up with other duties elsewhere. Only a handful will be joining this investigation effort. I understand. Field operations units are almost always understaffed anyway. The support you provide is more than sufficient. Alan gave an understanding nod. The man slipped off his bulky helmet for extending his hand in greeting. Pleased to make your acquaintance. The name's Alan, leader of Door Breach Team 4. Likewise. Before Faust could even relay my reciprocal greeting, words spilled out Alan's mouth in a strangely uneven rhythm, as if my ticking didn't bother him at all. It was sticking to a script he had rehearsed. I've heard great things about you, Manager Dante of Limbus Company, and the bus team's performance. You capitalized on the suppression of distortions at T-Corp as leverage to push your products, and your profits were nothing short of staggering, I heard. Oh, yeah, we're supposed to be distortion resolving specialists to the public. What's that product part about? The manager says it was merely a matter of luck. They also look forward to working with you on this task. Oh, are you the interpreter? In that case, I'll be sure to consult the manager only when both of you are available. Sure. Faust didn't seem particularly pleased with the role Alan had pinned on her, but she nodded anyway. She quietly came to my side and answered my earlier question while Alan carried on with Hohenheim. He's referring to the Monolith Sales Project. The credit was attributed to the LCB at the express request of Mr. Hubert, T-Corp's executive director. Oh, so that's how the rumors spread, huh?
Review the agreement. Now I understand you'll be assisting in verifying what lies beyond the back doors. I'd appreciate if you could share any prior knowledge you have about what these back doors connect. As details you can make them if you don't mind. Hohenheim fixed Kira with a pointed look. Though Kira responded by defiantly cocking her head in a show of irritation, she still gave up a sliver of the information she had. Honestly, I've got pretty much nothing if it's about Robo-Unk in his room. I mean, I've seen Albina hit up that door, and the one over there, she was popping out the farm stuff, but... Farm? Oh, gathering material. I see. What kind of material? Human guts and all that. She'd come back hauling piles of them. So they're probably connected to the same backstreets area. The backstreets? Any more details? Can you stop prying? You're low-key pissing me off. What? That's literally all I've got, for real. For a moment, Alan leveled Kira with a stiff expression. Even before I could register what had happened, Kira's head jerked to the side from a sudden punch by Alan. I thought Kira was nimble enough to dodge a surprise attack easily, but this one seemed to have caught her completely off guard. She stood there blinking, eyes round in rude surprise. Actually, it wasn't that he caught her off guard. It was the motion to punch itself that somehow felt off. The fist being raised, the arm being extended, the blow making contact. The chain of action was there, but it just didn't look normal. Did you just hit me? What the hell's wrong with... As Kira reeled from the unexpected strike, Don Quixote spoke up in a cold, sharp tone. Thou, what manner of discourtesy is this? With all that whining, I thought the brat could use a lesson and a reminder of her place. I had no intention of damaging your company asset, of course, so I assume the level of warning would not be inappropriate in this case. Team Leader Allen. That sort of conduct may not be an issue in your organization, but it is here. Should it happen again,
Yeah. I think I have everything done. Did I have everything done? I think I did. Okay. This is why I don't stream early. This is why I don't fucking stream fucking afternoon. Something always happens. Mm-mm. Oh my god. Okay, I think it's all over. I'm gonna know in like 2 seconds. Ah, this is why I stream late at night. Okay. Do understand that we may choose to terminate today's joint engagement without delay. My apologies. I will keep that in mind going forward. Alan stood down without arguing back, but Kira looked far from satisfied with how Hohenheim handled the situation. He gets to sock me in the face and walk off scot-free. So freaking annoying. Fortunately enough, her grumbling didn't escalate into her lashing out at Alan. That punch just now, though, what was that? It exhibited a behavior that defied the standard laws of physics, presumably a form of technology utilized by Wayfarer Company. Let us resume the task at hand. Ryoshu, give Manager Al whatever information you have. That door should lead to one of the ring-protected turfs. The other two on the left, I remember they were marked with an X painted with blood. But I, H, and I, where they actually lead. It's all blurry. It seems that's all the information we can provide. Will that suffice? We now know that the doors likely connect to a perceivable area. That's already a big improvement in terms of intel for Wayfarer Company's backdoor mapping progress. Which means there's less chance of us encountering a space beyond human perception past those doors. Alright then, I proceed to connection verification. Which door shall we test first? We'll start with the one Ryoshu mentioned. Heh! You don't trust me at all, huh? Then why even bring me along? Ignoring Kira's jab, Alan began setting up various devices on the door, and soon an elegant white door opened before us. Shall we? Art thou joining us as well, young Hohenheim? Just this once. There are procedures for handing over field operations. Okay, let's see what's in there. What the? Is this some kind of wildlife exhibit? When we stepped in, the lights hit us all at once, drawing squints and frowns from the sinners. Thanks to my lack of physical eyes, I can make out a room filled with statues, or perhaps taxidermied animals. It felt like a gallery of sorts, but it was so quiet that air itself seemed to carry a strange, somber weight. After a moment, someone shattered the silence, but it wasn't Don Quixote or our usual suspect. Holy shit! The scale is just insane! That's the whale from the Aid Association Great Lakes Special Issue! Kira, who'd seemed beaten down all along, exclaimed with a bit more energy in her voice. Man, seeing it in real life sure hits different. And the Indigo Elder solo one-shots these monsters at harpoon of his, huh? It's a Great Lake whale. Don't like the one we've encountered, though. Organisms of various sources can be identified here. Singularity modified, outskirts born. They look almost alive. They're not, right? No, they're not. Duh. The robot Unc did say that the ring has these zoos where they put monsters on display alive. Man, this would have been way more fun if we could see the moving ones. Everything here is dead. Meh. This looks crazy sick, though. The vibe really hits. Even though she was trying to play it cool, Kira kept sneaking glances at the massive horn display off to the side, clearly surprised in a way she couldn't hide. That said, I felt a distinct shortage of hyperactivity, given the presence of a certain someone in our party. Don Quixote? The eye of a second kindred, of House Tepesh. What is it doing here? At the mention of the word kindred, I couldn't help but follow Don Quixote's gaze. Opposite the whale was another kind of exhibit. It contained items leaning on the more gruesome side of things, starting with a crimson eyeball that caught Don Quixote's attention, and body parts like hands and bones that looked as though they'd been stripped from the human body. It's a gallery of the School of Fauvism, probably a main studio at that, which means the Maestro's atelier in an auction house. Alan, we will be making our exit shortly. Prepare to initiate lockdown sequence. For Hohenheim to finish his urgent transmission. Numerous footsteps close in from somewhere nearby. Turning towards the sounds of shoes clacking on the floor, we found strange figures wearing animal masks, staring directly at us. That presence is kind of like Papa's. Ain't no way!
That's not a raid boss we can clear at our level. We gotta get out of here.
It's not that simple. Retreating is not a viable solution here. This door is connected to the House of Spiders. Escaping without installing a security system will invite pursuit. We must stall them until Alan is ready to initiate the lockdown sequence. As tension thickened, one of the strangers who wore peculiar bone mask stepped forward. The voice that spoke to us carried equal part curiosity and delight.
You came through that door. And the house's fall wasn't just a baseless rumor. A stray little spiderling fallen from her parents' web. How many years has it been?
You. Who are you?
Ah, right. It makes sense that you would fail to recognize me. I used to wear a different mask back when I used to visit as your tutor, didn't I? A wolf, if memory serves right. Yes, that must have been when I was quite captivated by the sensation of tearing into the raw, still thrashing flesh of living prey, and the predator's ferocious yet cavernously resonant howling.
Rings a bell. You're that maestro whose whole lesson was a 3-hour sermon praising the intensity of primary colors and the strength of living creatures. Benoit, was it?
That's right. Emile Benoit. And they say you can't hatch a phoenix from a chicken's egg. Doesn't always apply, I see. Looks like that mind of yours is still sly as a raven, unlike your nurse father's.
Don't presume. I only remember you because the tactility of hides and guts made for a passable AW. At first glance, it looked like Ryoshu was casually taking a trip down memory lane with the maestro. But I had a feeling she was, in fact, dragging this out on purpose to buy us time. That lockdown sequence thing, how much longer till it's ready? Young Hohenheim, the lockdown sequence! Don Quixote, who'd been shooting the ring members an incensed glare sparked by the discovery of a kindred's eye, swiftly relayed my words to Hohenheim without even a hint of her earlier shenanigans. I'm afraid progress and speed of the lockdown sequence lies in Alan's hands, not mine. It is, by nature, a time-consuming work. We cannot expect haste. Perhaps that does make this a suitable juncture to trial Plan A. Plan A? Any suggestions that involve Don Quixote moving her shoes will not be dignified with a serious discussion. Instead, maybe what Hohenheim had in mind had nothing to do with Don Quixote's shoes, because he opened his mouth as though he was about to retort to Faust's categorical rejection. But the moment he followed Faust's eyes, saw what he was looking at, he quietly shut his mouth and said nothing further. Faith in potentiality is not something I dislike. As for this, however, this isn't like grasping at straws. At the end of their gaze, Ryoshu's blade, Arayashiki. I was going to try using it anyway. I've long wanted to see if a maestro's death is any different.
Telling him that we were just leaving won't work, will it?
No, it won't. Every individual present here will be quite the fascinating specimen to the artist of the ring. We are practically a windfall of inspiration material that has so conveniently been delivered to them. It is improbable they will allow us to return unharmed. Faust is right. She and Hohenheim are geniuses, and Ryoshu is the wielder of Arayashiki. Don Quixote is a kindred of a higher generation, and I happen to house a golden bow in my head. I have no idea how much information the ring has on us, but even if they knew nothing, they wouldn't let us go easily. Are you sure about this, Ryoshu? Doesn't matter if I'm SAT or not, Clock. Think of that woman as Lei Hang, and do as you did in HC's mansion. I'll take care of the rest. Right, that's probably our best shot. What Ryoshu meant was quite clear. Resonate with the golden bow, secure an advantage to fight on equal footing, catch them off guard by slowing down the flow of time. A cut from Arayashiki, even if it doesn't give us a real fighting chance, might at least stall the maestro long enough to give us the time to get away.
This floor of the exhibit only houses submissions from students and docents. But if you look closely enough, there are some passable ones that show the promise of excellence. And above all, this is the gallery of the School of Fauvism. And mine, the gallery of Emile Benoit. Which is why I would have preferred to take you without an unnecessary fight if possible. A shame. Still, we're talking about a unique relic here. A masterless one at that. Acquiring the Arayashiki makes it worth the cost. If you want a taste. Huh? Confusion flickered across Ryoshu's face. She tried to unsheath her blade.
What's the matter? How? The lock of the House of Spiders used to bind Uraishiki no longer exists, so why? Why can't I draw the blade? Now that's unexpected. So the rumors of you mastering that relic, were they false? The Maestro only gave a loose swing of her arm, but was enough to make Ryoshu recoil. A shadow of surprise crossed her face. The wound looked like nothing more than a light gash. The Maestro's contemplative gaze shifted between the blood on Ryoshu's arm and her own as though the attack had been an experiment to prove the hypothesis. It wasn't hard to guess what she was thinking. Noticed, didn't you? I had my doubts from the moment I saw you today. Was the House of Spiders a success or a failure? Tell me, Yoshihide, what do you think a serpent's defining strength is? What are you on about now? Ask any student and they'll give the same predictable answers. The deadly venom, the sleek scales. Why, it's lamentably disappointing. The Maestro advanced towards an assured certainty, and seized the beige thread dangling from the ceiling. No, calling it a mere thread would be wrong. It was something that resembled a thread, yet felt much more disturbing. I, for one, have a particular liking for the jaw and the spine. The flexibility of the spine, linked to like a chain, and the jaw bound not by bone, but by ligaments that allow the animal to swallow its prey whole. Perhaps I should have said that I admired the structural refinement. The thrice-coiled ring on her finger gave off a cold glint, and the walls and the ceiling suddenly began to echo with the sickening squelch and crack of flesh and bones assembling. The hell is that? Which brings me to ask, what better way to claim this delivery of promising material with a single bite than a work of art fashioned from a snake? The Master plunged her arm into the long serpentine body of the monster. Her sheer presence radiated a pressure as oppressive as that of Nurse Father's, only more primal and untempered. Consider it a privilege. This is the first time this piece has ever been exhibited to an outsider. Hohenheim, is the lockdown sequence still not ready? 1 minute to go. Step aside! The attack from the ego gear Hohenheim hastily brandished didn't even last a moment. The weapon was knocked from his hand. As I scrambled to equip the sinners their identities, something abruptly stopped the beast-like appendage midway through its hurtling motion. And the one who intercepted the blow. Shit! It was Kira, starting to push back as a serpentine arm with her still sealed blades. Kira! She suddenly have a change of heart I wasn't aware of? Shit. This wasn't the plan at all. Obviously not. You couldn't have changed her mind that quickly. Because the look on her face couldn't be anything other than that of utter regret. The middle, For someone who doesn't seem to be a proper member, you've inked quite the quantity of tattoos onto yourself. I hope wall humping remains as the thing that we think of. Like, fuck Prince of Persia, it's just wall humper now. Aha! Here's been a new kit Matthias took in. Why do you stand in my way? Fuck Divino! I'm already regretting it, alright? Damn it. They're defo gonna ditch me here. Why did I even... Must be instinct taking over. Couldn't fully shake off the opponent's killing intent, so the body chooses to clash head-on. So the behavioral facet of the psyche can be controlled with suitable training. Unexpected data, but useful to be sure. Shut it, mister! Quit yapping and let me use my blades! Authorized and ready. Lifting locks now. Kira's thermal weapons emerged from their sheaths of metallic clang. She used a recoiled motion to skid back and assume a defensive stance. Naturally, that broke Benoit's arm from the deadlock as well. The Maestro lashed out against the monster's limb, but... Huh? 'Tis a foul injustice to strike against an unprepared opponent in a duel! Behold, for I shall allow thee a glimpse of the badass form that only the most renowned of fixers have displayed through the ages! Seeing an opening, Don Quixote ascended to the arm with her full might, not get off his trajectory. Predictably, however, the sheer force of the Maestro's attack instantly reduced her to a red sludge of flesh and bone, sending her remains crashing into the door. Ouch. Ready to initiate lockdown sequence. I will seal the door immediately upon your exit. Everyone to the door. Faust, retrieve the organic remnants of Sinner number 3. As Faust made her exit well as once Don Quixote, the students of the ring surrounded Kira, barring her way out. A hollow chuckle slipped out of their lips. Called it for real. Exactly why I didn't want to get involved. Taking Kira back with us would mean having a sizable force of a ring trail right behind her through the door. Kira, too, seemed to have realized the risk that no one in their right mind would want to take. She lowered her head in defeat, as though she knew full well the fate that awaited her. I'm such a dumbass. What was I thinking diving in like that? You! Don't just stand there! Get over here now!
Huh? But these guys are gonna come flooding in if I...
You, TTM, want to get cleaved in half again? You pin this on me later, you're gonna pay. Blocking the Maestro's arm by a hair as it came down on her again, Kira hurled herself towards the door with every bit of strength she could muster. More than a few students rushed in through the doorway, chasing after the sinners who had gone in the head, but... Lockdown sequence complete. All backdoor links have been cut. Fortunately, Alan managed to sever the connection between the two back doors before the Maestro could cross over. Bowl cut. Think you can still use your arms? I'm fine. So she says. Kira would be a strong enough addition to fight for us, but the ring members that managed to cross formed a rather sizable force. Fighting them off with just the sinners I have at my side would not be the best course of action. In that case... Guys, I assume you're all available right now? As soon as I call out to the sinners, their voices come through Hohenheim's radio one after another. Huh? I guess so? Ready for your order, Executive Manager. I, Otis, am prepared to answer your call whenever and wherever.
Hang on, I just need to finish this bite.
Everyone to me! Me, when I just be summoning people.
비록 함께 전장에 나서는 건 아니지만 저희를 이끌어주는 건 단테님만 할 수 있는 일이에요. 이번에도 분명 원하시는 길로 저희를 잘 이끌어주시겠죠?
To me, my, sinner... Literally, though. I don't know how to use the ring, guys, so we're just gonna do shit. Oh, hello, Epic.
단테님은 매번 기발한 발상을 떠올리시네요.
Oh no. Oh, thank God. To me, my shifters!
지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 고모대 같았어. 아이씨, 짜증나게.
Oh wow, perfect.
이 정도쯤은
그만둘 생각이 없어 보이네요. 저분이 포기하지 않는 건
What are all our passes now? I should take a look.
아니면 차마 내려놓을 수 없는 자신만의 이유 때문일까요?
Let's do that.
않겠군. 본인이 하지.
아, 여기선 이런 공격이 잘 먹히는군요.
태어난 곳으로 돌아가라. 살고자 하는 모든 것들과 함께 무덤으로 돌아가라.
개체 제압 완료. 기존 매뉴얼과는 조금 다른 방식이지만 나쁘지 않은데요?
이렇게 뒀다가 절도 해보죠.
Boink. Oh, he's just dying. It's over for him. Do I still have? I don't think I have the stacks anymore, but that's whatever. I always got 4 on that, so that should be fine. Dead.
첫 여정을 시작했을 때보다
이런 건
정말
몽둥이가
강해지셨어요.
약이지. 두드려 패.
매일 좋아하는데도 지금은 감회가 새로워요.
전부 녹여서 썰어버려도 상관없지?
She's still in yellow? Yeah, she's still in yellow. Perfect.
만만찮겠군. 우리 가지.
예사롭지가 않은데? 아주 작자를 내놨어.
피해 산출값이 예상 범위를 벗어났는데요?
저 개체는 오래 버티진
지금처럼
못하겠군요.
엄마와
관리자가
함께
상황에 맞는
이곳저곳을
효과적인
다니며
공격 수단을 택했으니
많은 기억을
당연한
쌓아줘.
결과일 테지.
언젠가
It's only the first door, and the impediments are already beyond expected levels. I swear, I thought that was it for me back there. Events of this nature won't be frequent. We're merely beset by ill luck. If you just listened to me and picked another door, we wouldn't have gotten cooked like that in the first place. Like, why even drag me into this if you were gonna trust me, weirdos? We would have opened them all at the end of the day. SD. SD? What's that? Same difference. Again, why shorten it like that? Just say duh or something, or just spell it out and say it was anticipated. That's WA. Good work, everyone. Wayfarers have a team dedicated to this sort of task, but the mortality rate is quite high. Honestly, I was bracing myself for the worst. The odds of completing the first door of an expedition without any casualties are under 15%. This, by all measures, counts as a flawless expedition. Tapping away at his device, Alan dressed with an amicable smile. He seemed totally different to the same man who had manhandled Kira with a fist to her face. Those Falvis won't be able to cross over anymore with the door completely locked down, right? That cannot be asserted with certainty. Are you saying more might come? The corridors and back doors have always been the ring's turf, Clock. And those Falvis beasts have endured as a long-standing faction within the ring. If they've got that much history, they must know many back doors, both the origin and destination points. Alan clarified what Ryoshi was hinting at. Yes, compared to them, we lack sufficient knowledge of alternate routes, which makes it difficult to prevent infiltration. No need to concern yourselves over much. Even if that were the case, it's unlikely to move on to House of Spiders so soon. You'd always rush for a surprise attack, though. Even that Falvista Meister seemed to lack clear intel on the event that took place at the House of Spiders. If so, it follows that they will need time to assess and deliberate about the situation. The situation? The logical scope of their concerns will be identifying the organization that has secured the House of Spiders, the possibility of additional traps beyond the back doors, and the like. Once all backdoor-related procedures tied to the House of Spiders are completed, the resulting security framework should be able to preempt and block any infiltration attempts. This operation is more important than I thought. That aside, why couldn't I draw the blade? Is it the new scabbard's fault? Yoshi lifted his sheath sword with an irritated frown. And that's when I felt a faint vibration. The blade was twitching ever so slightly.
That quivering motion most faint. 'Twas seen by all, indeed?
Damn, I saw it too! Is it possessed or something? Looks like it was the only one who saw the sword twitching, as though it wasn't pleased at all with how Ryoshu was talking about the scabbard. Ryoshu's gaze lingered on the sword before slowly shifting to the back doors. Could it be that seeing the scabbard brought back some memory of Araya? Ryoshu, do you... Is it an SS? A demon edge? An enchanted blade? Which is it? It's probably neither of those, nor is it a sentient sword. This presents a fine opportunity to conduct another examination of the sword. Excuse us for a moment, Team Leader Allen. Please feel free to go ahead. Tech has now damaged some devices. We're going to have to perform some maintenance for continuing. There's plenty of other work for me to do while you're away, too.
Are we to return to the headquarters research facility, then?
No, that won't be necessary. There's a facility here that should prove more than adequate.
모처럼 괜찮은 예술을 보나 했더니 벌써 목, 애를 전부 채웠군. 방지할 사고도 해야 할
I'm
뒤처리.
hoping at least get halfway done. Hohenheim brought us to what looked like a research lab, lined with cables, rows of screens, and diagrams full of complex symbols and shapes. I know there was a place like this in the House of Spiders. This is a forward base constructed by Limbus Company following Operation Spider-Pyre. It did not exist prior to the house's fall. It is intended for additional backdoor investigation and research into irregular phenomena observed during the operation. Irregular phenomena? An example. Research subjects such as a spatial analysis of the correlation between the emergence of Sinner number 11's sign and a manifestation of possible future. Oh. Looking around, I spotted Sinclair and a group of researchers surrounding him, the same people who had dragged him off earlier. They were accompanied by a gaggle of sinners who had tagged along to either to watch the show or kill some time when it took a breather after work. Hohenheim, how long will the examination take? Sinclair's biometric assessment concluded, the analyzed device should be available for the relic now. Which means that it should be finished in an hour from now, at the latest. The scabbard rattled again at the mention of an hour. I don't know why or how. The way it swayed almost felt like a child trembling. It's moving again. Come along, Ryoshu. I expect you'll want to witness the procedure. Fine. Ryoshu and Hohenheim headed off to the side. The examination is probably going to start immediately. Time to get Sinclair, then. Wait. As being away towards Sinclair, was getting bombarded with questions when an unexpected figure behind a pillar caught my eye. It was Vespa Cabro, with a big piece of paper covered in crooked handwriting taped on his back. Snack thief?
Manager.
Chat on snacks. Mr. Stringbean ate all of them. Sorry, but I think there's been some misunderstanding. Verge, kick his ass. Not only is this matter not worth pointing fingers over, but Kadon also shares some of the responsibility for leaving them out on the table unattended. Still, I'd prefer you exercise more care next time, or you'll put me in a tough spot. Understood. Kadon, super sulky mode engaged, not talking for half a day. Deploying super pass bitter candy. Beep beep, mode disabled. I'm not sure this is an appropriate request, but may I remove the paper from my back now? It's a little inconvenient for me. Kadon forgives this time. Next time, no mercy. Best to make sure she doesn't listen to that radio channel again. Vergils looked on with an inscrutable expression as Kadon peeled the snack thief sign off Vespa's back. Make sure to remember this, so I don't have to think I'm burning through what little candy chance I have left on such trivial nonsense. Thank you. Vesta gave a polite thanks, but he was already picking something off another plate and stuffing it into his mouth.
Wait a minute. I was saving that for later!
I assumed you were being picky.
Well, now you know, yet I still see you gobbling up my share. He took my snack too, Verge. Kick his ass!
Rodion Romanovich. I am aware that half of the total snack budget allocated to each center is being funneled into your snacking expenses, and now you're raiding the LCE supplies as well.
Chill, that's what's been agreed upon, okay? Besides, that's that and this is this.
The lines of Virgilius' brow looked deeper than usual today. Hoping to help him out of his endless cycle of snack-related headaches, and to satisfy my own nagging curiosity, my junior guidance broke his brooding silence with my TikToks. Did we learn anything about Sinclair's sign? Dante is inquiring about the outcome of the research on the sign. I have heard from the researchers, but nothing of particular significance came out of it. Observation of the sign has so far been limited to 2 individuals, the manager and Sinclair. Due to the limited accessibility to the phenomenon, the only verifiable information has so far been its existence. Researching that which cannot be observed is bound to be difficult. Faust has a point. Aside from Sinclair, none of the centers can actually see the sign. And the same would go for the researchers. Even Sonya said only a select few people could perceive it. If there were more individuals bearing signs, there'd be a wider pool for comparative analysis of statistical samples narrowed down to scope. However, records indicate no suitable preferences exist. At present, the research effort is limited to reducing variables as to whether or not the irregular phenomena are tied to the location where the battle took place. By individuals bearing signs, do you mean people like Demian and Sanson? Wait, then could those guys do what Sinclair did? Pull in some superpowered future self and just wreck everything? Even Sonya? I should step in and put an end to the subject for Rhodey gets the blues. I don't think so. What Ishmael Faust reported back then. Right. Sinclair from the future said each sign carries a different power, I think. Maybe, you know, those layers of light rings Demon used to finish off Cromer or Sanson dragging us to his story. Those could be it.
That does seem plausible.
So none of that is information we can confirm yet.
Correct.
As you have stated, any discussion of this subject would not venture beyond the realm of wild speculation. Nothing has been proven yet, ergo, fear would be an unnecessary response at present.
This is, at best, grounded in supposition, but it would seem that the researchers are coaxing forth a hypothesis from the vestiges left in the wake of Sinclair's future self.
Oh, that bit about the sign maybe being some singularity or whatever, yeah? The precise position of the hypothesis is that its fundamental principles of the sign's working may be equivalent to those of singularities or relics. But as no actual evidence was obtained from Sinclair, there is presently no means by which this hypothesis may be validated. I see. Then nothing came out of them dragging Sinclair off for that research? Oh, you also thought I was being dragged off, but still let it happen anyway?
No, I mean...
I'm kidding. Just thought I'd try to go along with the mood. The old Sinclair wouldn't have even thought to joke around like that. He's really changed lately. For the better, I think. So, did anything happen we should worry about? I stuck close to him just in case. Nothing serious came up. Just took some blood, a small skin sample. Oh, and you're also checking if the sign reacts to electrical stimulation.
Yeah, and I had to fill out some questionnaires too.
Things like, please describe what you remember from the battle exactly as it happened, or list the sensations you felt when you regained consciousness. And your memories of that moment have yet to return. No, I don't know if they'll ever come back, actually. Faust said they only exist with my future self, so... Wait, but for my future self to even have those memories, shouldn't I carry them in the first place? Which comes first?
A paradox, it would seem. In such a case, that Sinclair is merely one branch among many possible futures. If the future unfurls into boundless branches by means of ceaseless bifurcation, then the body of information that constitutes a certain future would scatter into grains more fleeting than dust, too diminished to ever reverse their course and trace their path back to the self that now exists. Is that the theory suggested?
Not a certainty, but a plausible interpretation. Here you go again. More of that nonsense only you lot understand. Oi! Memory or not, that future guy still came out of him, didn't he? Then some part of him's got to be left in there somewhere, yeah? Like muscle memory or whatever. Maybe he could still pull off some of those tricks from back then. Tricks from back then? Heard you kicked off proper out there. You pulled out that trick you picked up from that plastered old geezer, was it? Not just that. He was using that Mong technique quite effortlessly, too. What? That glowing ring thing? Yep, the glowing ring thing. He had 2 of them coiled around his weapon. I used the glowing ring thing? This is the first time I'm hearing anything about it. Alright, so what exactly is that glowing ring thing? Anyone? Maybe some technique that enhances physical capability? I mean, I guess that flashy aura makes it real tough, one part of it, but there's gotta be more, right? No. It could be a secret finger thing they pass down to their members. Technique, gear, something like that. Look at it. That black coney leader, that night hang prick, that nurse fathers we fought. A whole lot of them's finger, ain't they? The notion seems to unravel, for even when the LCD, there were those who came to wield it. And Virgilius, too. So what? Well, the proper hard bastards can use it? It's a posh top-end trick, is it? Not anyone in particular prompting it. Sinner slowly turned her gaze from Virgilius and Vespa. I only learned to wield it from my team leader, too. I have a sensory understanding of Shin, but I can claim nothing too profound. However, what I can spare are some rumors, but they are all without proper sources. Rumors? They circulate among elite fixers and the association leadership. That there exists a power called Shin, capable of enhancing the body without having to pay expensive upkeep costs. A rumor among fixers, sayest thou? Yes, even a technique to manifest it. How-to tips, really, spread through hearsay. Oh yeah, that tracks. The super rookie column in the latest mag bonus vid? Bro was really popping off with it. Straight up aura farm with a shiny Mong wrapped around the weapon. It must be that mine eyes are to see privy such an amazing marvel in a video. Wait, you serious? It's in the latest issue, literally on the videotape in the back. Maybe you missed it? Videotape, alas, for many a week have I been stranded from Mephi, revving me of a chance to read not only the prior chronicle, but the latest one as well. Woe is me. When I return, I shall feast through the night upon those noble exploits of adventuring fixers. Don Quixote dramatically spiraled to a state of utter dejection. Otis continued conversation, her gaze narrowing with suspicion. From what I recall, the mantle of Shin grants its users a high degree of physical enhancement. There is no such thing as reinforcement without supplies. No power of that magnitude comes without an equivalent cost to wield it. That power relies on emotion and will for manifestation. Its output is not consistent like prosthesis and augmentation. And depending on how it is used, the consequence it demands can reach levels comparable to the ego you use. You mean to say that it exacts a toll upon the mind? I can walk you through the fundamentals if you'd like. From what I observed, it appears to be a technique reserved for those of considerable strength. At our current level, is it not unreasonable to assume we could make use of it? Regarding that, our team leader has been conducting intensive research, and according to her, physical strength itself has little bearing on one's ability to learn and wield Shin. As the Yellow Harpoon says, it is, in essence, a power that can be learned by almost anyone, provided they know the proper method of training. Vespa's brows visibly twitched the moment Yellow Harpoon left Virgilius's lips. Yeah, it does look like he's a big fan of his own title, the Yellow Harpoon. Well, it fits. I mean, he's got those yellow stripes on the clothes, and he uses a harpoon, too. Can he argue with that? If I were to exaggerate, even Sinner Yisang's pre-contract self could manage to learn it. Why must this self of mine be chosen as the point of comparison? I figured they were talking about it because Shin is actually, like, extremely relevant in comparison to... What is it? I guess, yeah, because, like, Kanto 8... it was like relevant, but not really. This is the first time it's name dropped. And technically it showed up in 6, but like, it was such a small part. So now we're actually getting an explanation of it to some point. Well, because you're the wimpiest one here.
Don't let it get to you.
Even so, it would be a mistake to assume it's a power anyone can grasp with ease. As long as you are bound by contract as sinners, your ability to wield it will be severely limited. Unless you rely on particular identities or come upon an extraordinary circumstance. Shame that. Would have been useful.
Hey, then what about me? Can I learn it too?
Kira, who had been fidgeting with her fingers, raised an arm and asked as though she couldn't hold the question back any longer. Come to think of it, the little nurse father didn't use any Shin or Mong. Papa never taught me how to use it. He always said I could get stronger without a stupid crutch like that. It wasn't that he didn't teach you, he couldn't. He was a man who probably had never once reflected upon his own sins. A piece of trash like him would be incapable of even comprehending such a power in the first place. Vespa's responses always come back dripping with venomous hatred whenever the conversation turns to the topic of fingers. Kira must have noticed too, or perhaps she simply couldn't find the right words to push back. Either way, she held her tongue. Her expression fell into a blend of frustration and something looked a little too close to sadness. If you want to reduce it to a yes or no, then yes, you will be able to learn it with the odds in your favor. That is, assuming that the company decides to tolerate your continued existence. I already said I get it. As it stands, you're nothing more than a pending case of disposal, closer to a threat than you are to an ally, strictly speaking. Don't get comfortable because the manager and the sinners treat you with lenience. Step out of line and you will be the one who pays the price. There's nothing what Virgilia said that I could argue with. Kira had been a member of the House of Spiders. She murdered scores of LCE researchers, and left us with plenty of memories you'd rather not revisit. For now, we're just working together. Now, contesting that decision doesn't mean we have no hard feelings towards her. Leaving Kira alone with her thoughts, the sinners slipped back to their own business. Snacks, idle chatter, and the conversation of whatever happened around LCE. The examination's concluded. I suppose it won't be an issue to let you hear the results together. And before we knew it, Hohenheim and Ryoshu returned. How many nodes are in this fucking thing? I didn't actually think about it. Oh, we'll find out. To present the conclusion first. No, the notion of the sword being sentient one is incorrect. See, you had me until you said Sora, and then I stopped paying attention. Like, hands down, like, that's poverty faps. I'm too good for that shit. I cannot see it. Anyways, back to what I was doing. The locus of the will is not the blade, but the scabbard. An ego forged in a rather paradoxical nature. Yes, that'd be the most appropriate description. Not a sentient sword, huh? Ryoshu's grumpy dismissal made the scabbard quiver almost as if it had taken offense. Somehow I felt like I could understand what Hohenheim meant by will now. It was a reunion of sorts, one that gave both a tinge of sadness and hope. If the scabbard has his own will, does it mean the owner of that will can be resurrected? It is too premature to deliberate on the matter. The stated existence under question is not one that may be defined as death at the moment. I assume they asked whether it could be revived or brought back to life, so to speak. Even supposing the survival is at a fixed variable and that reconstitution of the original corporeal body falls in the realm of theoretical possibility, the probability approaches zero given the limits of today's technology and conditions. We researchers are inclined to entertain even infinitesimal chances when the terminology of the lay people like yourself, such a prospect would be labeled impossible, wouldn't it? There is no need to fixate on the impossibilities of the present, Manager Dante. Such matters are reserved for us scientists to hold on to. Right. Ow! but we may have uncovered a thread that could lead to restoring Senator Ryoshu's memories, though, again, that too is merely a possibility. A far more practical avenue for you to pursue at the moment, nevertheless. And to that end, further analysis on the scabbard itself would be necessary. Coordinate with Alan for your next duty. You should still be in Ring Nurse Father's headquarters. That will be all. I want him to cut himself off there, claiming his mouth shut as if any further exchange might scatter and mess up the theories he'd constructed in their conversation. Alright then, before we go, anyone want to tag along? Munching on food, averting their gaze, the sinners were pretending they weren't interested at all. Welcome by the way their forks along since stopped moving. It's pretty clear to me they've been intently listening in our conversation. Where are we to go? Right, sorry, I forgot the rest of you weren't there with us earlier. Faust, Don Quixote, Ryoshu, and I have been checking where each back door leads. Oh, and Kira too. The prisoner of war executive manager? We talking about me? Yeah, I guess. I'm working with them too, yeah? Best remember to tread carefully. Should you cause even the slightest harm to the executive manager, you'll be held accountable without exception. Yeah, sure, whatevs. Kira needled at Otis with a mocking pout, but oddly enough, she didn't appear particularly irritated. Anyway, I think it'd be better if we had a few more people, just to be safe. One of those I went through earlier went straight to the ring's corridor. That was a close call. Otis and Heathcliff's hand shot at the moment I finished speaking. I would very much like to accompany you, Executive Manager. You can rely on you, Otis. Your recognition of my loyalty honors me, Executive Manager. I, Otis, understand better than anyone your concern about the peril of working with a prisoner of war so liable to betray. To have your indispensable self proceed with only a handful of soldiers under your command, this cannot stand, I'm afraid. I'll be able to focus on other duties of personally seeing to your safety. I get it, Otis. You've made your point clear enough. Not keen on how I just keel over the moment you summon me. Feels a bit dodgy. That. Better stick by your side and scrap it out myself. You probably don't need me to come along, then. You just summon me, the rest of us like you did earlier, shit hits the fan. A research yet unfinished holds my efforts. I shall join you once it has found closure. I don't think it'd be much help wherever you're going. I'll pass. I will follow if that is your order, Manager. No, it's fine, just to get some rest. It'll probably be okay. I'll summon them again and things get too dangerous. For now, I should go see Alan again. It does make me think, how are they going to block the summoning for later chapters? Because there's no way we're just going to have it the whole time. Okay, so 5 was the first part. I mean, this is probably 15 nodes like usual. Where is... Oh boy, here we go. Where is my... Give me what I want. Perfect. Alright, and here we go.
자, 판 돌아갑니다.
Ah, you arrived. I was waiting for you. We sifted through an isolated door with the highest probability of leading to the ring's gallery. The next step would be to enter the alternate door you mentioned, but... Hold up a sec. I was actually gatekeeping more stuff. Huh? Gatekeeping? Are you saying you have more to tell about gates? Doors? Yep. That door over there? I'm sure it connects to N-Corp's nest. I saw Albina going in all hyped up about some canned, whatever it was. And that wooden door with bandages wrapped around the handle? Papa'd go in there to cross out vengeances? What the book said, it's probably a turf protected by a thumb subsidiary or something. Like earlier, she offered only vague snippets, even about a single door. Kira was now feeding out a stream of intel that seemed solid, even to someone as clueless about the back door as me. She's far more cooperative than anticipated, after that Alan character roughed her up from what I hear. Yeah, you'd think she'd claim about a spite. What if she changed her mind about cooperating with us? Nevertheless, we mustn't let our guard down, Executive Manager. There's no telling when she'll turn on us. Forget! I can literally hear everything you're saying, you know. Alright then, based on the intel, please proceed by investigating the safest doors first. As for the high-risk ones, continue checking and let you know which ones you need to enter. Alan turned devices around him and flashed a couple of doors of blue light. Guess that means you start with those. Where do you guys want to go first? They all look about the same. Let's start with the closest one. Well, Alan did say these are the safest ones, so it shouldn't matter which one. As I reached for the nearest door, as Heathcliff told me to, Ryoshu suddenly veered off, stopping in front of another one that stood a few steps apart. This door. It feels familiar. You recognize that door? I think I passed through it a few times when I was little. Hardly had Ryoshu stopped speaking when a fragmented memory, painted over in parts, slipped into my mind. Sorry. It hurt a lot, didn't it? I should have finished my homework faster. Oh, I know. Let's go for a walk. But I don't recall much about it. That memory just now. Could it be tied to Araya? Let's start with that door. Okay. This one, yeah? There we go. Impatient as ever, Heathcliff shoved the door open and strode in first. The rest of us followed, including Kira and the other sinners. And this place is... Judging by its state, it seems to be a welfare facility located within a nest. Most likely a park. Every sod walking here is dragging some animal along. Means they got money to burn. Proper rich lot, this place. The walk the past Ryoshu mentioned in her memory, and the sight of people fussing over their pets. The pieces clicked together, and I voiced the other memory I saw back at the House of Spiders. Did you ever come here with a puppy named Sadu? Yeah, I remember that. Not a puppy, though. Sadu was a bit bigger by then. Sorry. It hurt a lot, didn't it? I should have finished my homework faster. Damn. Why isn't she getting any better? I give her lots to eat. Oh, I know. Want to go for walkies? You love walkies, don't you, Sadu? This is a workshop Dad always visits. The door there is connected to a park. We can go right now. Ryoshu's childhood memory burned bright in my vision before passing. That was her as a kid? Verily, such gentleness doth seem most unlike thee, young Ryoshu. Hey, clock. You said you could show them my memories willy-nilly. No, wait. Come on, you know it's not something I can control. GG. Back in the House of Spiders, I was the only one who could see the vision of Ryoshu's past. This time, though, her memories seemed to manifest for everyone around, just like what we experienced in H-Corp with Hong Lu. Which probably means... Why are y'all staring at me? That's so random, what the hell? Did you not see that just now? See what? You guys zoning out together? Guess it doesn't apply to Kira. Then again, unlike how it was between Lin Daiyu and Hong Lu, Kira doesn't have any direct connection to Ryoshu. I guess it makes sense. Was that adorable hound that companion of old young Ryoshu? Indeed, my one and only best friend. And because of that, Sadu would be locked away in the vault every time I had to depart on an assignment, with a spiral driven through her. The first ever leash. Looking back, it might have been a kinder fate had she died sooner. To inflict such cruelty on a voiceless animal. How could such wickedness be born? What happened to Sadu, in the end? She died before her time. I don't recall why, but there was this day when Sadu wouldn't stop whimpering in pain, and I shut myself in my room crying. You were? Not someone else? Who else? Oh, see, it was me. After witnessing the fragment memory, Heathcliff looked utterly unconvinced. And while I was grieving, Callisto offered a solution, so he would give me a gift the next day. And what I received was something he called the Beast Bone Blade, a Tonto that would whine and yelp in Sadu's voice with every swing. Ew, no way. I always knew there was something creepy with Robo-Unk. So that's how he killed your dog, huh? No, he didn't kill Sadu. That Tonto was alive. Did you just say alive? Bloody hell. Alright, nuts of that psycho. Her eyes were embedded in it like adornments, and they'd stare at me in accusation. The tiny heart beat as though it was quaking with fear. It was a horrible sight, and I felt pity. So I shortened what remained of her time with my own hands. Got me thinking after hearing all that. Why do you still mess with that art thing, then? Let's be honest, after saying something like that, you don't want to steer well clear, yeah? Right? Those things called artworks were also cursed. Straight up nightmare fuel. Like, I haven't really checked out the other ring artworks outside Albina and her nurse father, so maybe I'm just a noob when it comes to all that. But yeah, their stuff never gave me any art vibes for real. I thought the same. Well, I was terrified at first. Yet as I learned more, there were some facets that suited my taste. Thou findest appeal in those grotesque creations? From what you've told me about Callisto, it looks like he failed to stick to his own advice. But there's something he always used to say. Art is wholly subjective, and thus one must never expect the understanding of others. The uncanny, the horrible, is a beauty that lies in the grotesqueness of it all. Can't say I quite get it, but if you say so. Nah, but bloody hell, how do you end up getting used to that kind of thing? Why do you need to understand? You're not an artist. I got used to it, but that bastard Callisto's installation artworks caused night terrors and nightmares for... The scabbard moved, and Ryoshi came to a pause. It trembled, but there was at once a strange aliveness to it, as though it quivered between fear and anticipation. Night terrors, crying from nightmares in the House of Spiders? There's actually someone who got scared of ring stuff back in your day? I need to check something. We've seen enough here. Let's go back. Yeah, let's. Nothing worth checking around here anyway. When the inspection complete, we quickly followed Ryoshi back. She stood in front of the artworks covered in sheets of cloth, lost in thought. Right here. There used to be a huge artwork displayed here. I don't know what kind of impulse struck him, but the bastard went about fussing, saying he needed practice so he wouldn't lose his touch. Mommy. Oh, nice. What's wrong? Over there. Thought I told you to keep the exhibition in your room. Ah, you've returned, Yoshihide. I decided to attempt installation art of a somewhat larger scale this time, but I ran out of space in my gallery. Mommy, people were screaming. Dearest Yoshihide, Araya has reached an age where she may be introduced to the world of aesthetics. Surely this wouldn't be a problem. It would. You liking it and me acquiring the taste doesn't mean Araya will. Let's get you back to our room. I was hugging something in my arms. It was crying. Sadu? No, too big to be Sadu. The lacerated memories can never be made whole, no matter how many fragments are glued together. We could tell Ryoshu everything we knew about Araya, but it never truly reached her. I see. This hollow void. This must be Araya. The sensation and emotion for what's been emptied began to entangle with Ryoshu's memories. And that makes it possible for us to reminisce about Araya together. The soft rattle Araya gave seemed to show how pleased she was with this small step. Alright, time to check out the next door. We entered several more back doors that Alan had pointed out. But unfortunately, none of the places we ended up at stirred Ryoshu's memories any further. Pretty much nothing here. I think we're... Huh? What the... How'd they get in here? Oh, god damn it. Startled, Kira pointed ahead, where figures wearing animal masks were hauled what looked like massive lumps of flesh hidden behind a tent of sorts. Those ring assailants from before? Does thou not say thou hast sealed that door earlier? How then do these villains come to stand before us once more? They probably infiltrated by an entirely separate route. Another back door. As you can see, their objective appears to be the retrieval of the ring nurse father's artworks. Get on with it! We need to move as many pieces as we can before we pull out. Wait, but I thought Robo-Unk was washed. He got so many fanboys and fangirls here. Heh. Does this artwork possess value in and of itself? Or is it just a case of posthumous premium of death effect? Think about it. So many pieces have already been taken. Of course, they're of little value to both our companies. Watching them sweating and struggling to drag those mediocre pieces with them. Pretty funny. But imagine how those pieces would be labeled with some pathetic notion of heritage, connected to my name with their description plaques. Pretty unsavory. They may be occupied with transporters objects for now, but it will likely soon find cause to harm the Wayfarer and LCE personnel stationed here. Executive Manager. It would be prudent to eliminate them without delay, considering the ring's reputation. Otis is right. Better to wipe them out before they try anything stupid. Guys, so we've got another job to do. Lend me a hand. Rio didn't buzz the sinner's replies this time, but it should be fine. They can deal with it. It's not my problem. Not my fault. Oh, hi, Lucaton. I was fucking reading.
이때까지 겪었던 일은 전부 보고서로 전달받았습니다.
Ooh,
한참일지도 다 읽었죠.
Sinclair about to eat shit.
도대체 어떤 사람들일지 다들 궁금해했어요. 요즘 같은 시대에
Oh, you're on yellow. Perfect.
여러분처럼 이론보다 행동을 앞세운 실험 정신을 가진 사람들은 몇 없군요.
Yes.
이런 건 몽둥이가 약이지. 무릎 두드려 패.
아,
Realize Malkuth's domain. To be fair, who wouldn't? Having the ability to summon help whenever you need it is just so convenient. I won't lie, I'm feeling the Intervallo. It's feeding me what I've been looking for. I'm feeling this. Why can't you spam Superbia to same egos every turn? Because that'd be too convenient.
적극적으로 노리겠네요.
Though it may also have to do with the fact that the Malkuth one is also very, what's the word? Unstable.
저희는 신경 쓰지 마시고 테스트에 집중해 주세요.
Well, let's not do that. We do this. Yes. Oh my god. There we go. Closing time on turn 3.
정도쯤은 아이씨 짜증나게.
피해 산출값이 예상 범위를 벗어났는데요.
And I don't know when we'll be able to finish this today, but at the very least I can get it kinda going.
敵は深手を負っています。
Damn it, double red. That's so annoying. Fuck it, bring out the horse. Certain character in his interval. I've noticed.
단테님은
She's aight.
매번 기발한 발상을 떠올리시네요.
브레이크 슬랩.
Alright, and then fan the hammer. Double Mirror sucks without Rhodia. This game's too easy for me to care who sucks or not. Oh, we already got max back. Yay! There's no difference.
다들 첫 여정을 시작했을 때보다 정말 강해지셨네요.
효과적인 공격 수단을
매일 보아하니
가능한 결과일 테지.
감회가 새로워요.
Alright, hit that. I'll hit the multiple the AoE. Are you at 3 yet? You're not. We'll do this and this. I wanted to delete someone off the map. We're doing Nurse Merit because it makes his ramp up longer. Base Merit. Yeah, someone put it down as like a thing for him, so I just kind of grabbed it. Not because he like they made him into that, but because I just need the buff. You know, the buff. I should up type for the centers I actually like for base centers as use as facades, but like I've been too lazy to do that.
관리사가 감도를 93%까지 끌어올렸던 실험도를 두고도 산출값이 좋네요.
Counter that tournament pace. X's past 9 doesn't count, so already being another Rouge Inflictor makes him worse. Interesting. Yeah, he's just dead. It's over. And Ishmael's at 4, so she's gonna burst someone down. Oh, Clutch Master. What, are you already at 10? Oh my god.
엄마는 무기라면 뭐든 잘 다뤘어. 그중 제일 뛰어난 게 검이었고.
Who allowed Mangle to the offense? I just noticed you're at max coffin. Jesus.
살고자 하는 모든 것들과 함께 무덤으로 돌아가라.
効果的な攻撃でした. 지금처럼 엄마와 함께 이곳저곳을 다니며 많은 기억을 쌓아줘. 언젠가.
With this, the last of the ring's infiltrators have been eradicated. Is that all of them? Ryoshu kept glancing around as if searching for someone, but fortunately no other ring members were in sight. Right, but where the hell were those lot coming from anyway? Or just the first wave? Had more to Sod's legging it from the back that they'd been lurking somewhere else. According to the tracking logs, according to surveillance devices installed here, the creature crossed over from another corridor. Another corridor? What precisely the designation another corridor refer to? A room resembling a shopping mall, one with the batches of toys on display. Your company, if I recall correctly, designated it as the corridor of the middle nurse father. Oh. As we relocate there, your assigned tasks here have been wrapped up. Oh, and before we set off, do you have any information to share in advance? We're planning to compile a comprehensive encyclopedia cataloging the notable characteristics of these corridors and all of their connection Loki. Your cooperation will be most appreciated. Kira seemed to hesitate, gnawing at her nails as if she was going through an inner struggle. Before long, however, she snapped out of it as she just locked in on decision. Sure, I got stuff to tell you, like hella stuff. Some parts are kind of fuzzy, not gonna lie, but I can still recall like 20 places clear enough. I mean, it was home for me and Papa, so I got nothing. I never once regarded that fucker's room as a home, and memories of it are all fragments at best. The scabbard gave a faint, restless stir, once it wanted to comfort Ryoshu in the only way it could. And accompanied by his tremors, he began our move towards the corridor of the middle. Can I get lucky first roll? Damn it. Look, all I'm asking is they just put a refresh button on the support ID thing and I'll be happy for the rest of my life. Come on, hook a brother up. Oh, you know what? I have a friend who added them. I totally forgot. Hold on. I just remembered. It should be fine if I just add them. Limbus IDs are so fucking annoying though, so let's get this going. Nine. 5, 2, 1. I didn't actually accept it. Alright, back to what I was doing. Gambling. Oh my god, let's fucking go. I mean, basically everyone's at 60, should be fine.
서두르지 말고 느긋하고 여유롭게.
What the heck? I swapped everything that wasn't nailed down, huh? Fret not! I espe thither thy half of thy worldly possessions, articulated fixer figurines, video game cartridges. I'm not talking about my toy box, Kay. I had hella many of them anyway. My TV's gone. The couch too. As Kira said, a conspicuous empty space was left where the television family couch set used to be. Put up both rings. It hurts to watch these resets. I just need to support shit is annoying. You just need a refresh button in there. I will be happy. Oh, those? Let's see. Researchers hauled them away. For the sign of it, they're gonna set them up in their staff lounge. As for the leather and the ornaments, they said they'll be selling them off. Yeah. Otis seemed to notice the moment she caught Kira's wistful look. Corners of her lips curled with a faint smile. She spoke with feigned nonchalance. Who knows? With sufficient cooperation, perhaps they'd become more receptive to the idea of returning those items. Assuming much? Never said I wanted them back. Anyway, I'll tell you all about what I know, so come this way if you want in. These two doors here are made from paper and wood. They connect to S Corp. And that one reinforced with steel. That one is the V Corp back streets where... When lived here and made frequent use of the doors herself, Kira's clearly the right person for the job of identifying where each door to Wayfarer Company had asked us to explore led. Directed by Kira and accompanied by Alan, we tried doors one by one. Good work. All data seems to match. Thank you for your cooperation. I'm told there was just one back door left to open. I know this isn't anything new, but I've gotta say, these back doors are too bloody convenient. Them portals too. Ain't doing anything shady like the warp trains either, is it? Here's as simple as turning the knob and entering. Then you'll outpace your business rivals in no time. I'm a bit hard-pressed to agree with the too convenient sentiment when it comes to using backdoors and portals, but since your intent was to claim Wayfarer's superiority to current W Corp, I'll take that as a compliment. Did I say something wrong? Every technology comes with a cost, Heathcliff. Aptly said. While this has been a workday relatively free of casualties thanks to the quality information you've provided, do you understand that Wayfarer Company's primary services include pathfinding, path security, and path maintenance? Each of those services is fraught with life-threatening dangers for our employees. Some never return after embarking on a pathfinding journey, some are killed while battling monstrous entities, whose exact natures haven't yet been confirmed, that appear in the liminal space between paths. It also costs a pretty penny to keep up the secured path, well, secure. I'd say our operating cost is on the rather steep side, because we're also trying to prevent our rival from taking this corner of the market. Thinking back, I don't think I've ever seen Alan enter a door to a new location with his helmet off. This is one of his precautions, just in case. Maybe his dry smile and unsettling lack of reaction to anything are hints that he's simply seen too much to be fazed by most horrors. Still, our work's considerably easier for this job, thanks to the help from everyone here. Honestly, this partnership is working much better than I'd expected. Very well then, let's take a look at the last door. It's the door Papa used to walk through all the time. Fell Kira into the door. The second I crossed over the threshold, a breeze carrying an oddly familiar, salty smell tickled the tip of my clock hands. This location is somewhere in the general Great Lake area, it seems. Welcome to U-Corp's giant Stingray port ship. Stingray, huh? Why does that ring a bell? Hang on a minute. It's that place, isn't it? The portrait of the Salon de Monroe? The private hair salon? Heathcliff chimed with a shudder, though the sheer weight behind his words terrified him. Ooh! Does that signify, then, that we shall finally be made audience to young Heathcliff and his hairdo most luscious? Quit it with the luscious nonsense, lass! Why encourage me now when you were so cavalier about blasting my villainous arse back at the lake? Indeed. Alas, 'tis true that punishment wrought upon our merry band has severely outweighed the crime. Was thou not agree, young Heathcliff, that to put the coupons to use would remedy thy pain a smidge? That bugger it! I ain't even got anyone to spruce up for anymore. Sweet, then can I use them? We were regulars at Maloo Place, Papa and me. Papa would ask the middle fam for a favor, he'd bring loads of coupons back home. They give away a hair coupon every 10 visits you see, so I...
What am I even yapping about all excited? Kira, who seemed ready to launch to a cheerful rant, came to an abrupt pause like a bike tripping over a ledge. Her face fell as she lowered her gaze and scuffed a pebble away. Looking back, his papa did hella care for me, so why? But it's also true, these guys went out of their way to get me out of there, though they didn't know me that well. Why's it gotta be so complicated? Matthias gave you that unesthetic BC. The heck's a BC? Bowl cut. Bro, listen. Like I said, it's not how you shorten these things. For some reason, Ryoshu seemed most gleeful to hear Kira correcting her acronym. There's a reminiscent of that self-satisfied look she'd get after confusing with these acronyms, especially during the early days of the bus journey. Thinking back, ever since Sinclair's translations became reliable enough, the sinners had less reason to voice their frustration with Ryoshu's acronyms, which in turn gave her fewer cases to snicker about. I'm not sure why, but something tells me that she might be making her acronyms ridiculously incomprehensible on purpose. If your conjecture is correct, Executive Manager, she has one tasteless sense of humor. From what I recall, the toys and games he was into were pretty retro. Must have been annoying to play along. At first, the more I played along, the more I got into it. Still corny and juvenile as shit, though. I know aught of that conflict within thee. Trifling and I can't fucking talk. Trifling and apocryphal. Okay. Trifling and apocryphal they may be, yet we are all compelled to peer hindwards at the interests of the family. Yeah, I want to know what Papa was into. Really get what he was talking about. Besides, I needed to know these things. I wanted to chat him up and talk about a mutual subject, so... He'd tell me about you all the time, Yoshihide. Proud shit. Not a day went by without him saying stuff like, Yoshihide learned this in 2 days, or, yo, this was Yoshihide's fave, you know. Too bad I wasn't here to tell you that his words weren't worth shit. I once thought of him the same as you do now. A good man, at least among the nurse fathers, caring enough to bring me gifts. But one day I realized that he'd never understand the things I really cared about, even if his life had depended on it. One day, thou sayest? Pray tell, was there aught that had changed thy perception of that man? That... I don't remember when or why, just that it happened. Wait, I might know this. Was this something that happened at school? Papa told me that things started getting awkward between you and him ever since you quit school. Bullshit. I've never been to school. I never even thought of wanting to go to school. Matthias must have been talking out of his ass again. Huh? No way, bro. I even saw a clip of it. What? Papa showed me that video when he was teaching me how to use these doors. I even saw baby you going, I'm off to school, Dad, in that video, so I'm pretty dang sure. But I don't. As Kira went on, Ryoshu's confidence from her initial retort seemed to slip away. I couldn't blame her. So much of her memory had been mutilated. Let me hit up. Let me hit up my friend. Ryoshu didn't sound like she was denying it out of hand, though. She seemed to mean it when she said she'd never been to school and I never wanted to. And I want to glimpse that fragment of memory that made her say that. The moment I willed it, a scene from her past slowly flashed across my eyes. Very well, Yoshihide. I'll rescue an institution that is not entirely dissimilar from school. There is a subsidiary of the ring. Academy. You sure it was a school? Not like an art academy or something like it? Wait, that kind of makes more sense, yeah. Must have been an academy, not a school. Academy of Art. Ryoshu muttered a few words as they were pieces of a puzzle she was assembling. And after a brief moment, turned towards me with an astounded scoff and a look of mild irritation. Clock. You deserve a smack. Then lightly smacked me upside the head with her scabbard. What was that for? This memory sucks, Clock. I would have been just fine without it. But at least I got to remember the incident that changed my perspective on Matthias. Dad, how do I go to a school? School, Yoshihide? Well, I don't see why you would wish, let alone need to go to such an institution when your nurse father had provided you with all the education you require.
We would later find our unique styles of homeschooling to have been much more enlightening than trying to enter the nest formulaic educational systems. But Dad, I saw him in a picture book. And I don't have any friends here. Oh, Rhiannon is pointless. But it is true that our qualities can be learned only through group erudition that engenders competition. Very well, Yoshihide. I'll register you in an institution that is not entirely dissimilar from school. Really? I intend to send Yoshihide to an academy as part of my educational curriculum. There is an Academy of Art, a subsidiary of the Ring. Companionship with other talented children of approximately her age will nourish a spirit of inspiration that will guide Yoshihide's growth. The prescript approves. But Callisto, I'll tell you now that you might be making a mistake. And how are you so certain of that? Do elaborate if you can, hand puppet of the prescripts by whom every aspect of existence is articulated. What do you even know of choice? Of what is right or wrong? And off they went. Perhaps a little more situational awareness would have prevented what is to come. Callisto had found me a rather decent academy. The artworks used to scare me when I was alone weren't so bad when I was with other kids. No, that's not quite it. The more accurate to say that I started to understand people's perspective on beauty. Of course I would, and all I ever did was nod along to the lectures and spout purple prose, although I'm making pin cushions out of people's bodies like it was nothing. Our lesson today will focus on corporatist techniques. Now take a good look at the diagram here, and then the mannequins before you. Weave the blood vessels in the same pattern as the diagram, and... I don't know why we're even learning about corporatist stuff in this day and age. Right? I don't get what the point of this slog is. Tying and shaping blood vessels make a color that a drop of ink can do better? I read that in a book. I'm more excited to learn about the cubist technique than this crap. Honestly, why is this washed up movement even a part of the curriculum? This boring, shallow gore stuff. No, it's gory, but it's boring and shallow because you guys are bad at it. What? Aw, you mad because your daddy's a lame corporist? Oh, is he? I wonder if stuff is just... Ow! I was taught that people who say bad things about my family deserve to get their butt kicked. Them bad-mouthing Callisto wasn't actually what set me off. I didn't have any special reverence or attachment to family like Matthias did either. Like what, you need like Ruina decks or something? Myongistian! Just what I was taught to dislike, that's all. Just one of those tantrums kids of that age have. Kids will be kids and all that. I'm home, Dad. Hey, buddy! You're home early. Oh man, must have been playing rough today, huh? You got dust all over. Got into a fight. A fight? Yeah, they kept saying dumb things about class stuff, so I smacked them. What about you? They didn't hit you anywhere, did they, buddy? On my cheek, but it's okay, because I punched him this many more times. Did I do good? That's my girl. Dad? Where are you going? Oh, you know, we've got some business to take care of. Why don't you sit tight and work on a coloring book? Dad'll be home before you know it. Okay. Is it bro business? No, it's family business. I ain't saying what's so bad about taking care of your own. Them snotty sods don't learn respect unless you beat it into them. If only he'd been a simple-minded fool like you, then the story would have ended right there with a pat on my head. What? Papa, I mean, the middle doesn't stop there. It never does. You hurt a member of the family? That automatically gets you written up in the book. Yeah, and he did what he did in the end. Huh? Haha! There you are, Yoshihide. Is class starting already? My diligent little girl. Wonder who she takes after. Dad? I know. I said I'll be back before you know it, but I got a bit lost trying to find my way through the ring bastards' tricky mazes. You know how they are. Oh yeah, there's so many sniveling brats here. Well, as for their crimes, they slapped my buddy's face hard enough to leave a mark. That's an arm for you. As for the instructors, well, anyone would agree that they did one sorry job of keeping these tykes under control. In that case, pursuant to Title II, Section 52 of the book, execution by beheading.
They clearly don't get much use for what sits on their shoulders, eh? How do you like it, buddy? Papa's the best, ain't he? How dare he? Such senseless, barbaric violence! Uncultured, uncivilized animal! Do not be discouraged, dearest Yoshihide. I have had out yet another academy worthy of your talents. It is a much more significant and prestigious institution this time. I assure you, even an intemperate berserker like Matthias won't dare force his way into such a place as he did the previous academy. Don't wanna... Yoshihide? I don't want to go to an academy. I don't want to go. I don't need friends anyway. For all his posturing, nothing that was ever important to me held any significance to Matthias. He took a lot away from me just to feel good about himself. So I hoped he, more than anyone, would never find out about the things I held dear, because I was afraid he would take them away from me like he did the others. But he'd always catch on faster than he had any right to. Every contract that took me away from the House of Spiders made me tremble in anxiety. Because I was worried about, I don't remember what, but I do know that I could never stop thinking about my room. So, whatever occupied the room in my absence must have been the most precious thing to me in the world. The scabbard, which had been stirring lightly as Ryoshu recounted her past, soon began to rattle audibly. It's doing that thing again. Ryoshu patted the scabbard with a gentle, reassuring hand. The scabbard was once a Raya, a memory without attachment. It appeared to me almost as though she was pacifying a crying child. Seeing that gesture, Heathcliff briefly cast a sullen yet faintly expectant gaze between Ryoshu's scabbard and my device. He must think back to his last conversation with Catherine. But Catherine's existence, unlike Araya's, was erased by the golden bow itself. I doubt this advice could do anything for Heathcliff at this point. From everything we know, the ring nurse father seemed to have been the least awful parental figure in your childhood. Huh? Yeah. Didn't know that Robo-Unk was such a radical guy. He was in an academy like you wanted and even got angry on your behalf. Oh. Hazy memories. Almost forgot to mention. A few days after that, Calista left a snowman by my pillow as a gift. It was made of heads. Heads? Yeah, decapitated heads from the incident at the academy, threaded together into a sculpture. Thinking back, it was one sorry excuse for art. He's totally mistaken. He thought some low-effort bullshit like that could make me feel better. Could have spared us the details, lass. With that covered, you guys want to head back? Hang on. What's up? Gonna get that luscious treatment before heading back? Shut it, you! That ain't it! Look over there! Those blokes walking out of the salon! Oh, well, fuck me. Phovis, ain't they? They found us. It would not be odd to find a field branch of the Ring's art movement in different districts of the city, that it had the Phovis scale. However, various evidence, says Dermas, and the fact that our group has immediately drawn their attention, this is they were in the same pack as the one making regular incursions to the House of Spiders. This is LCB, speaking to Team Leader Alan, requesting immediately commencement of the lockdown sequence. Copy that. And why don't we... Holy shit, guys, stop! Bloody hell, what? Don't you know where you are? You're smack dab in the middle protected turf. Could cause a scene and bros and sisters in the middle will be here any second. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a problem. We're drawing the Ring's unwanted attention. So I don't want the middle coming after us to the House of Spiders, too. Sounds like you got a good eye. Talk. Ever played Whack-A-Mole? Like, why give ourselves a countdown? We head back through the door now and beat up whoever thinks it's a great idea to walk in through the door. She puts forth a sound strategy, Executive Manager. As long as there's no high-ranking officer among them, it would be to our benefit. Well then, let's do as Kira says. That was quick. Alan blinked, shooting us Apollo look as our entire squad came pouring through the door long before he finished his lockdown sequence. Due to newly emergent complications past the door, we concluded this location is the optimum point to intercept and engage the infiltrators of the Ring. This location, you say? No, wait, that door leads to a zone or a syndicate or wings protection, doesn't it? Better idea to fight here, then. Happy to work with someone quick on the uptake. Was long for the foes came rushing in through the open door. I didn't want to summon them while they're relaxing, but... Well, it can't be helped. And I summoned the sinners back to work. I just love Heathcliff being like, yeah, I hate the way it feels when you do that shit, so we're just gonna not.
가서 할 수 있는 건 다 해보고 오라고. 보다 한 주먹거리도 안 되는 놈들이니까.
Ooh, we're on red, the best one to start with. Damn. I was fine as Rhodia.
태어난 곳으로 돌아가.
단테님은 매번 기발한 발상을 떠올리시네요.
Yeah, the facade system's pretty nice. I should use it more, but I don't usually care about, like, what I'm using. Yeah, I already used a counter then.
신입 연구원들도 저분들처럼만 해주시면 좋을 텐데.
불가능한 점이죠. 상상치와 같은 외워야 할 교육법과
But these two hurt me. Changing from story progression. Oh, like the new model, like the new sprites don't work? That's funny. She had 3 or 2. She's at 2.
아, 여기선 이런 공격이 잘 먹히는군요.
This might have to be the last node I do. So I was gotta get ready for heading now. I'm gonna go disassemble all my builds and start everything over. That's the one thing about Arena that's really annoying. Trying to, like, if you want to do new stuff, you gotta, like, reassemble and break everything apart, and it, like, fucks up your whole flow, especially if you have multiple floors. It's a whole mess.
기존 매뉴얼과는 조금 다른 방식이지만 나쁘지 않은데요.
이렇게 뒀다가 저희도 해보죠.
Ooh, you're not 3 yet. I'm gonna do this and that. Actually, I was just thinking about this today. Because I was thinking, like, because there's a lot of reading that goes in Lobotomy Corp. And I'm sitting here like, why am I okay doing that? But when I try to do it in, like, Limbus or Arena, I, like, feel my eyes glaze over. I'm not talking like I like, figured out a reason or anything, but I kind of had, like, an idea running through my head.
살고자 하는 모든 것들과 무덤 돌아가.
다들 첫 여정을 시작했을 때보다 정말.
But basically, the pacing is like what occurred to me. Oh, damn it. I want to get the AoE, but whatever. Die.
이런 건 몽둥이가 약이지. 뚝 두드려 패.
자세에 틀림은 없군.
But basically, the sort of answer I was thinking about as it ran through my head is pacing. There's a lot of pacing issues in comparison. Alright, he's dead.
산출값이 예상 범위를 벗어났는데요?
적절한 비교 지표가 있는지 모르겠고 유사 실험들에게 있다면 따로 전송해주게.
수치 좋네요. 예상했던 대로 무난하게 끝날 것 같아요.
뭐 지금까지 겪어온 사건을 고려하면 이런 기초적인 테스트에서 난항을 겪는 것도 이상할 테지.
만만찮겠군. 우리니 하지.
Maybe pacing isn't the right word for it, but I gotta figure it out. I'm gonna try to talk about it. I low-key want to also try to make a video on it, but that also required me to get like Limbus company footage, and that's a lot of work I don't feel like doing.
이번으로 몇 번째 통과죠?
17번째라네. 확실히 관리자의 지위가 동반된다면 승률이 상당히 높군.
모처럼 괜찮은 예술을 보나 했더니 벌써 목, 애를 전부 채워.
How much is it now? 528.
방지할 사고도.
Turn off settings, announcer yapping, stopping, combat ending. Oh, I just clicked the button. You can just click through it. But I'm just chill with that. But yeah, like in terms of Arena, because like Arena has like a lot of fucking text. And so does this game. There's like a lot of fucking text. But there's also a lot of fucking text in Lobotomy Corp, but I was chill like going through all that. So I was always sitting down thinking about that. And I think a part of it is because since Lobotomy Corp is a management sim for like a bunch of esoteric nonsense, it's more, I don't want to say fair, I don't know what the word for it is. But like, I'm more willing to put up with it. I say put up, no, it was fun doing that shit. In comparison to like the card game stuff, where the card games that have a bit more of a pace to it, or like you would want it to have like a bit more of a pace to it. Limbus Company also, especially with how battles are set up, is that you're kinda pushed to just go in there, but you can't. Yeah, and this is just off the top of my head. I was like thinking about it. Why is my computer not charging? Uh-oh. Not good. Anyways, the whole thing I was like thinking about today, that like it sounds like a bunch of nonsense because I haven't like refined it, but it might be something I make a video on because I think it'd be interesting to think about. But alright, I gotta get going. I'm going out to the movies tonight, and I might take care of the rest of this when I get back. This is definitely going to take me the rest of the day, unfortunately, but it's better I get it done now than later. And I'll probably send a friend request after I hop off. Still, it's whatever. We'll figure it out. Alright, let me poof out of existence. Later, gamers.